So I haven't been able to talk about this because in a legal situation, I get the call to go look at these cars, huge collection in a museum. You get up there and it's just dripping with money, dude. $1 million buses, $1 million this. It's ridiculous. I'm like, okay. He wants to sell his collection of classic cars. I go through it all. It's the best stuff I've ever seen in my life.
These are some phenomenal vehicles, dude.
But after I bought them, this is what I got. A subpoena from a federal judge. That's not what I was counting on. So I get a text message on Sunday from an old friend named Shelby Smith that Gimme the VIN does a ton of business with. The name of his dealership is Elite Autos out of Jonesboro, Arkansas. And he's a heavy highline dealer, and he really specializes in Ford GTs, like the GT40, the Ford GT. He's the GT guru for the country. Shelby texts me and says, hey, I need your help on a group of cars. Can you come to Tulsa Monday morning? I call him, we talk about it, get on the airplane, fly to Tulsa, meet him there, and we look at these cars. And man, they're the best damn Corvettes that I've seen in a long time. There was a real special one. There was a Z06 big tank.
Now here's the star of the show by a mile. 63 Z06 big tank. Unbelievable.
He also had a VIN number 5. It's like the second or third oldest Corvette in the world. And the resto on it is immaculate. Then he's got this power wagon that's got an LS4 in it that's just incredibly built. 1944 Dodge Power Wagon. All these Corvettes with crazy low miles. It's a lot of heavy stuff. I had to number all these cars. So I met him up there. The customer was his. It's not my customer. He said, what are you going to give? So I tell them both I was going to California that night, and I said I'll appraise them when I'm on the airplane. So I land in Van Nuys, California, and I call Shelby and say I'll give $4 million. Shelby bought them from the guy and then sold them to me. You know, where's the money? Where's the money? We got to get the money. Shelby wants the money. The guy wants the money. It gets to, on those big money deals, multi-million-dollar deals, guns are ablazing. I'm like, I want the titles. I'm not sending anybody any money until I get titles. Have my ladies do it. You know, everything's cool, except there's 4 that aren't there yet. He's like, well, I need all the money for all of it or I'm not doing it right now. Shelby guarantees me he's going to get these titles. So the George Jones possum truck did not have a title.
George Jones?
Yeah, he had it restored. It came with a signed guitar. I put it in my studio. This was George's truck. He's on the front of the title. We kept it that way. We line up the transporters. Everything's coming in. But I'm like, man, what am I going to do with these cars? I mean, what am I going to do with this level of car? You know, Barrett Jackson, right? That's the obvious first choice. Mika Auto Auctions, RM, Sotheby's, Broad Arrow, Bring a Trailer. How about we just sell them at Manheim Dallas like everything else? You're crazy, John.
Wholesale at auction, very rare cars, and this is very unusual.
He's going to sell these things at no reserve. Talk about some huevos.
How about we just sell them at Manheim Dallas like the good little wholesaler I am? Everybody I talk to says, why are you not using Barrett? Why are you not using BAT? What they don't know is that we sell over $1 billion a year. One year we did $2 billion at Manheim Dallas. I'm in the wholesale car business. I'm a liquefier. There were cars that will make too much money. There are cars that will lose too much money. I own them all. I sell them all. I walk away. I'm either up, down, or broke even. But I know I'm done. And that's how I like to do business. So now we've got the cars bought. We've got the cars paid for. We've got the titles, and we've got them moved. Oops, we don't have them all moved because the trucker decided to take off for Thanksgiving. So about a week later, we got the last load of cars in that were the Smoky and the Bandit cars. I never thought the trucker ran off with the cars, but I was starting to get a little nervous. So in cars like this, documentation is a must. It's just like buying and selling airplanes.
You know, and I'm sure that the documentation is bulletproof.
It is absolutely bulletproof. These cars that have all these awards, that have this restoration level, we had to make sure we had it all that was there to be had, and then we had it organized. I got a marketing problem. I've got to figure out how to get all these people here. Dennis Collins and I...
Keep an eye on Dennis. He's got a guy behind these short.
You're good friends with our boy Dennis also. You bring him down here, and if you've ever watched this show, Coffee Walk, he will tell you where the sand that made this glass was manufactured at and where it was harvested from. He knows everything.
You know, you can tell it's a 68 by the way the door handle is. You got the button and the grasp on there. 68, 427, 435 horse tri-power car. Injection car. And you look at the back, that's how you know it's a big tank with that shelf.
Hey, Dennis, you and Richard come by, Rawlings, Gas Monkey, and help me promote this thing a little bit.
Hey, we're going to go visit our buddy John Clay Wolfe with GMTV. He's wholesaling some of the rarest Corvettes in the world today. Here we go.
Rawlings came by and did a hell of a job. Did a Gas Monkey episode on this auction.
We're out here at Manheim Dallas. You know, these guys have auctions like this all over the world, but John Clay knows what's going on, and you see me do some things with him. He's the guy from Give Me the VIN.
And he had a 61 bubble top Impala that he put in the auction that he did a deal on that got a ton of views. And so that was really helpful. So I'm marketing. We don't have a website. Rob, I need a website right now. Like for what? Call it gmtvgarage.com and get all these cars listed and get all the documentation up and get everything so like the public around the world can view these things digitally and feel good about it. So it's like, this is my moment in time to burn this in to prove that we can sell this level of car at a dealer-only sale. Because it's what I want to do. I love doing what I do every week with the normal Give Me the VIN cars. I'm not done with it. I love it. But this is really fun. Because when I got into this business and I started growing through it, I kind of plotted out how I was going to do this. And the end of my career, I wanted to master the classic and collector car business. And the reason is because I was a goofball about them when I was a kid. I loved Hot Wheels. I love handling real-life Hot Wheels. But I just love these specialty cars because they're unique. You can't replicate them. And every one of them is a little bit different because it's all about the restoration. I mean, everything, it's like they're better than they were when they were new.
I can probably guarantee you they are.
All original cars from the 50s or 60s or 70s, there's a handful that are all original that have, that were time capsules, but most of them are not. Most of them are restored. And the resto is where the sweet spot is. I'm so beat down to having 1,000 car sale, 1,500 car sale, way bigger dollars. We sell exotics all the time. 800 grand, $1 million, $500,000. That's like regular to us, which is weird, but it's true. But these older cars, man, they're different. The valuations are so weird and they're so different. They're so specialized on condition and when was the resto done and what option does it have and is it a factory radio? Is it a factory air compressor? When they did the resto, did they make the parts? Did they find the parts? Did they refinish the parts? Is the paint right? I mean, there's just so many things that everyone has different opinions of it. Everyone wants to bitch. But one thing, when we had the preview the night before the auction for all the dealers to come up and look at these, there weren't many people bitching about nothing because this stuff was slick and it was nice. And I was proud to offer it. The ones I was most scared about were the big convertibles, man. Like that Bonneville red and white one and that DeSoto.
I'd drive it, but I'd put air ride on it and gold wheels. What?
That DeSoto sold at Barrett Jack's for like $240,000 3 years ago. We sold it for $150 that day. Is that too cheap? Maybe. But what I knew is I had some really big whales in the room that really know this stuff, and they let that car sell for $150 grand. So if they let that thing go by for $150 grand, they know more about that car than I do. And I trust those opinions. And then there were some cars that I thought would bring $120 grand and brought $200 grand. And there were cars that I thought would bring $80 grand and they brought $60 grand. So if you try to pick out where every car is going to land, you're going to be wrong. So there were these three cars that ended in 243. And this is a really weird story how this worked. The first car came up, 53 Vet, ended in 243, and it sold to Sam Pack for a big number. I forgot what it was. And he's a huge collector, like 500 cars. And so I'm like, okay, Mr. Pack bought that one. He's obviously going to buy the other two that go with it because they were matched by the factory, the 03 and the 13. And the 03 comes up and Sam Pack never bids. Online, I'm like, that's weird. That's weird. So I make an announcement. I'm like, something's wrong here, guys. I think he's making a mistake. I don't think Mr. Pack or his buyer understands what's going on. And somebody's going to get a call from these guys to buy this car back because you don't split up these triplets. You just don't do it. It's just against the religion of what we do. Shelby actually bought that VIN 243. And then the next one came up, the 13, and it went out to Virginia somewhere. And sure enough, the next day, I get a phone call from a guy that used to work for me about 4 years ago, Calvin McDonald. He said, hey, John, he explained to me that he thought he was bidding on VIN number 5 or something like that, and he didn't understand that those VIN 243s went together, and he's a buyer for Sam Pack. And I was like, dude, you're in trouble, man. They're going to be so pissed off at you. You ought to just put in your resignation right now. Because a guy like Sam Pack doesn't do this for the money. He does this for the glory. And the fact that those triplets got split up just shocked me. But I gave him the numbers of the buyers, and I believe they contacted both of them, and they didn't make a deal with either one of them. So I guess that family's broken up forever. So I guess in that case, I'm a home wrecker. So it got to the end of the sale, and we had our big daddies there at the end. We had the Z06 big tank and VIN number 5. And 442 Oldsmobile W30, 1966 or 67, I forgot, and I am still hurting in my heart that I did not keep that car.
This is all Richard right here. Black on black, 4-speed.
One of 22, I'm told. That car made like $2,700, and I would much rather have that car sitting in my collection right now than have a $2,700 profit sitting in the bank. They got eaten up by expenses anyway that I'll never see. That's the car that I loved, and I cheap sold it. And I knew I cheap sold it, but karma came back because the guy I cheap sold it to is the one that came back and bought the Z06 for $600,000. You know, and that car only bought $525 in the lane. And I stopped and I said, boys and girls, I love you, and I mean it, but I'm not selling this car for $525. I think this car retails for $900. And I think in 5 years, this is $1 million car. It's the Hemi Cuda convertible of the next generation. And I will sell it for $600,000. And that's the least I'm taking right now. And that guy that bought the 442 said, hey, John, I'll buy your car. Sold. Then the next big one came up, VIN number 5. And we were down in the 500 somewhere. And I thought I had a buyer for $650 in Charlotte. So when we were down in the 500s, I just stopped the auction. I'm like, guys, I hate to insult you. Appreciate all the bids. But I've got $650 already bid on this car. So if anybody wants to knock him off, I hope he's online. Block clerk, put it up at $650. And if y'all want to buy it, hit it. Put it up at $651, actually. You know, $651, $651, nobody hit it. I'm like, that surprises me because I thought the guy was solid at $650, and he never came in. So I still have that car. I'll get her sold. I don't think there's a lot of risk having the third oldest Corvette in the world that's in that kind of shape. And it's parked right next to Paul Newman's Ferrari, his 1977 308. Race car that I partner with Adam Carolla. So it is in a good place, and I'll figure out soon enough what to do with it. But I can tell you that this was extremely entertaining, and I loved enjoying these cars and learning more about Fuelies and learning more about 53 versus 54 versus 55. I didn't know that stuff. I learned it quickly, but you know, I didn't really know what was going on in that first-gen Corvette world. I still think the black 57 with the silver cones and the red guts might be the prettiest car there that day. And that 427 blue, Nassau blue or something blue with the white stripe and the big horsepower, 4-speed Tremec, I think it's a Rock Crusher. That's a pretty good one too with side pipes. Those two cars, outside of the huge money cars, were the stars of the show for me, but still the best is that 442. And the dude that bought it at 5150 Autosport, please sell it back to me. Please. I already miss it. Or at least just let me keep it. You said you're going to keep it and put it in a bubble and never let anybody have it. Can we share custody? Can I have it like, you know, we won't do every other weekend, but maybe once a month, a year. I just want to see my kids every once in a while. So the story doesn't end at the auction. This whole thing was top secret. The seller never wanted us to talk about him. Nobody was supposed to know that I bought all these cars. And then I get a subpoena from a receiver. He owes hundreds of millions of dollars allegedly to different people that he owes money to. And the court wants the cars, or they want to know where the money is. And I get this subpoena and I'm scared to death. The good news is the cars were already sold. And the guy says, hey, we don't want the cars. If we did, we would have jumped on them because we were watching you market this auction. We knew you had the cars. This is the court receiver. What I want to know is, where did the money go? I'm like, well, I sent the money to Shelby Smith at Elite Autos, and then Shelby he paid him with it. So you're going to have to call Shelby and figure out what account it went into. That was a relief. He said, we don't want anything from you. You've done nothing wrong. And I knew we'd done nothing wrong because we ran UCC searches on this. We did our due diligence, and we were clear. Remember the titles I was telling you we were having problems with? Those 4 cars? Well, we found one on the 57. We got it handled in the VIN problem. The George Jones truck, we did sell it that day, but we got it back because I never got George Jones' title. So we got a new title, and we're good there, but that sale unwound. And I'm going to sell that car at bringatrailer.com on April 19th during our car show in Walnut Springs. The number 5 Corvette, I'm going to sell that car and the George Jones car on Bring a Trailer, and that auction's going to end April 19th. If you're interested in it, please watch it. We're having a car show in Walnut Springs. Rawlings is going to be there. Fat Boy Tom Smith's going to be there. Pat Green is actually playing Friday and Saturday night. And we're going to have about 10 cars all end at the same time on Saturday. I think Richard and I are both going to kind of MC it on a YouTube stream. So you can find that at jcwshow.com. Make sure to go to GimmeTheVin.com or GMTVCC, which is Classic and Collector. We buy that stuff all the time. And we want to buy yours. And God knows we can pay for it. If you got a big collection, go to GimmeTheVin.com. I'll show up. I'll buy them. I'll wire you money. Please have the titles and don't send lawyers after me. We have more videos coming out in the can that are wonderful, and there could be another one on this topic because you never know how it's going to end up. Like, subscribe at our YouTube channel, radio show. It's kind of like Howard Stern on Cars. I've been doing it for 20 years. It's broadcast all over the country on the best rock stations from LA to Florida to New York City. You can watch that right here on this YouTube channel. Every Saturday morning we live stream it with cameras, my co-hosts, people call in. If you know me from Instagram and you see those reels on Instagram, that is where that comes from, is the radio show. So my name is John Clay Wolfe. I'm signing off for now. Make sure you subscribe so you can catch up.